Got a different thought here this morning. It's something about marriage. Thinking about the thought from the marriage vows, for better or worse. For better or worse. In sickness and health, from this day forward, all that the vows that we, traditional vows that most people use for marriage. And when I think of Mark 10:6-9, but from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. Well, I've been counseling a young lady who her husband has been a little bit of a disappointment to her. He's messed up in some ways, and that's been hard on her. When she said those vows, she was in anticipation of him being as wonderful as he was while they're dating. And, he's done some things that he's ashamed of that he shouldn't have done, And now it's at the point where I said to her, marriage is forever, and you got to stay by him. And when you said those vows, it was before you knew how bad his breath was going to be in the morning. When you said the vows, it was before you knew what his reaction to some things were going to be, So when it says for better or worse, the better is when they're sweet to you and when they buy you flowers and bring them home. And the better is in marriage is when they are thoughtful towards you, and when you cook a meal, they tell you how wonderful it is. The better in a marriage is when he cares about your feelings and will let you talk out your feelings to him. That's all the betters. But unfortunately, with the better comes the worst. And what's the worst? Well, some of the worst can be, that you fix a meal for him and he comes home and says, I don't like this, and just picks through what he likes of the meal instead of eating all of it, choking it down, and then telling you later not to fix it again. That would be the nicest thing to do. Then the worst for you might be that, he sneaks out and does some things that a Christian shouldn't do. The worst might be he gets mad at you and cusses you. I have a friend that her husband, goes to church on a regular basis and he cusses her. That's the worst. The worst for some of you might be that in the secret of your bedroom he beat you. I'm telling you, this is happening all over the world and in our churches. And I feel bad for you, But when you made that commitment for better or worse, you got to stick by it. And that doesn't mean that you don't go get some help. Like this lady's coming to me and getting some counsel about how to live with a man that's a little less than perfect. And maybe you do need some help. I'd encourage you. You did this for better or worse, and if right now you're seeing the worse more than the better, go get some help. Go find someone that can counsel with you and help you to know how to deal with it, and maybe even encourage him to go get some counsel so you all can work through the problems. Marriage is forever, and I really believe that the marriage is supposed to be better, and it's supposed to be wonderful, and it's supposed to be all the good things. But sometimes when there's somebody in the relationship, or maybe both people in the relationship are broken, they need a little help and counsel. So for better or worse, yes, sometimes it can be the worst, but let's work on the better. Let's try to find out a way to make it the better. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice.